Hey guys, this is Casey Shear, Astronaut Game Maker, and I want to just show you what I got so far. So here we have the game already loaded. It has a quote-unquote game menu at the start button, mostly just a placeholder, and so I have the room created. But we go ahead and get start, and it loads the game. So here we have a couple objects. We have the big green with a P, that's our player. If we move the controls, WASD, it moves him around. Changes the sprite index for an arrow pointing which way he goes, just for reference for now. Most of the stuff we have is a placeholder, just so we can get the coding going and not spend hours and hours on making sprites. So far we have two red enemies. They don't do much so far. You can move them to them. Is mostly to display because I have a parent object called actor. So the player and the two enemies, which the two enemies are the same object, all inherit stats and stuff from the main one. Difference is you can move the player and the enemies move on their own. So, let me click over here. If we click on them, two screens. If we click on them, they have some stats here, which generate most of their abilities. So far, the only one that really does anything is their constitution, which gives them their health. So if we middle click them, it'll actually reduce that health by 1 point. They both, if it goes below half, it turns red. We can do that for our player as well. If it goes down to 0, game over, and we don't want to do that because it'll have to restart it. But that was interesting to do because those are 3 points, but the bar is 120 pixels long, so I had to do a little bit of an algorithm to calculate that, so it would reduce it by a certain amount. At first, this was kind of annoying because I would just basically have a variable divided by 62, which would reduce down and stuff. But the problem with that is it's in a relative spot to the object, to the player, which his coordinates are 0, 0 in the middle of him. So I just basically lifted it in the y-axis above. But the problem is 0 is the middle of the bar. So I had to basically do it by 128 and then minus by 62. So it has a range of positive 62 to negative 62. Therefore, it can go in the negative for that variable. If that didn't make any sense, don't worry about it. Basically, I just had to do some programming wizard magic to make the health bar work. Anyways, yeah, going down to 0 for the enemies doesn't do much yet, but they're just there to test some stuff out. If we click battle, that'll take us to a battle map. This is supposed to be like a top-down, like Fire Emblem or Shining Force 2 game where you move your guys tactically. Right now I have it so it rolls their speed. Basically, it rolls a random number between 1 and 20, adds their speed modifier, which I don't think I've set up, so it might just be 0. But it goes through. So right now it's showing we have 3 objects, and the code I have, no matter if I have 3 or 7 or 100, it work for no matter what. So I can basically just plop it on a battle map, plop down the objects, and it will work the same, which is really nice. That's what I want it to be, modular. So it goes through, and first off, a lot of stuff you don't see. It goes through and it makes an array of all the objects. Right now it's only players. If I put enemies, it'll miss them. I'll have to add a little bit extra code for that, but right now I have 3 players. It goes through and checks each one in an array, and then it goes, as it's doing that, it also takes that person in that array at that time and rolls their initiative. So rolling their, or speed, I mean, player 0, which is the first player, but player 0 rolled a 16, next one rolled a 12, and the next one rolled a 13. Then it goes through and starts checking them. I don't know how to do lists, I don't know how to rearrange them, so basically I just have it go through and start with the first one. Player 0, have him check every single one. If he wins in every scenario, it's his turn. If not, it goes on to the second one. It does this until somebody wins against in every scenario. It's his turn. And then his speed goes down to 0. It will skip him. And then it goes to the next one. It does this until all 3 or all of them have gone, in which then it starts all over, rerolls initiative, rerolls speed, and does it again. So here we go. Rolled the speed for the third one. It's checking player 0 versus player 0, which it's going to win that one. It has to be equal or higher, so it wins 1. Player 0 versus player 1, it wins that one because it's higher. Player 0 versus player 2 wins that one. It's going to make it player 0's turn. If we click on him, his speed goes down to -1, so he can't win again, and everyone will win against him. But we can move him. I have it so if you just hold down the key, it moves it, but it gives a little timer in between of about 1/6 of a second, maybe 1/2 a second. Just a slight little variation, so it just goes zoom across the map. You can click it, or you can just hold it down. We'll put him in the corner for now. Hey, the health thing still works in here. And then if we click end turn, it will end his turn and go on to the next one. Just to kind of restart that process over. Now we have all these little messages for me for debugging, but eventually I'll remove it and we'll just go and it'll be like, hey, it's so-and-so's turn. The big message across the board. Skip player 0, then player 1. It's now checking all the stuff for player 1. Player 1 versus player 0 wins. Player 1 versus player 1 wins, of course. Player 1 versus player 2, that's going to be a loss. So it should then go on to player 2 and start checking him. Oh look, player 2 versus player 0 wins. Ooh, that's an error. But I'll fix that in a second. I know how to fix that. But yeah, his turn. It should check them all each time. I know why it did that, but I'll go back and fix that. But we'll end his turn, and then it'll start over. Skipping player 0, player 1 wins, player 1 wins, player 1 wins. And it's his turn. Yay! So we'll go put him over here, and his turn. And it starts the whole process. So it's rolling him again. It's checking again. Player 0's turn. Put him over here. Skipping next one. He won them all, so it's his turn. And the last one. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That's all I've gotten so far. In a couple of days, maybe a week I've been working on this. And just really, really glad it turned out so well. Thanks.